It is not actually simplification of the labor laws. It is for the ease of doing business for the employers. It is not universal. What they are saying, it is universal across the country. People will get the same pay. But it is not that. It will be regional. But they are saying that all will get. That is neither uniform nor universal. And it is the floor level minimum wage. And today, what the government has notified is 168 rupees per day. Because of this floor level minimum wage, in many states, the minimum wage is much more than this.
Yes.
And then they will have to, they will bring down their wages. They are employing workers in different names.
Yes.
Apprentices, trainees. So, apprentices will be given not wage, stipend. So this type of employment is increasing. Permanent workers is coming down, and even contract workers are also being removed from service, and trainees, apprentices, fixed term employees, and outsourced workers. So this type of precarious jobs are increasing.
Hello and welcome to Left Lens. Today we have Comrade Hemlata with us. She's the president of the Center for Indian Trade Unions, the CITU. She is also a Central Committee member of the CPIM. Comrade Hemlata, welcome to Left Lens. Good to have you with us. You've been playing a lead role in the trade union movement, and you've been fighting for the rights of workers for a very long time now. We are having this discussion at a time when the union government has just notified the 4 new labor codes. So in this issue, let's discuss those codes. There is this effort to push this narrative that the labor codes are merely an honest attempt to simplify 29 complex labor laws. That the labor code is going to modernize Indian industry and labor. How do you respond to this narrative?
See, it is not actually simplification of the labor laws. It is for the ease of doing business for the employers. The existing protection which the workers had in the labor laws earlier, that all will be almost removed, diluted. Whatever protection they had, they will be diluted. And in one sense, actually the labor department itself, it will have no role. There will be no inspection. The labor inspectors will be termed as inspectors cum facilitators. What they will facilitate is the facilitation of violation of labor laws. It is not implementation of labor laws. So for the interest of the employers. And if you relate it with the recently introduced, means the draft has been published, the Shram Shakti Niti. In that, the Labor Department, Labor Ministry says that it will reposition itself as a facilitator for employment. So it is not for the implementation of the labor laws. Labor Ministry's mandate is to implement the labor laws, to supervise and ensure their implementation. But now it is going to go away from that rule. So it is all not for the interest of the workers. So we have already said the central trade unions and the CITU all, they have termed this as a deceitful fraud.
You are saying deceitful fraud, but at the same time the government is saying these new labor codes are going to ensure social security for even gig and platform workers. Trade unions are saying 90% of the Indian workforce, which are in the unorganized sector, are not even covered by this. How do you look at these two different arguments?
So as I told, it is the same thing. The actual gig workers also, there is no specific mention of what type of social security will be covered. They will have. The other thing is that where from the fund will come. They say that 1 to 2% of the turnover of the employers. But the employer-employee relationship itself is not established. There is no effort to establish the employer-employee relationship in the gig workers. And the other things are simply having some Aadhaar linked, that will not help. So it is just to means the same thing.
It's just a complete eyewash. Would you say that they're saying something, but in reality it is just making
we will not say even eyewash, it is a deceit.
Okay. See, another issue that many people seem to buy into is that they are saying with these labor codes, there will be a minimum wage that employees will get across the country without no differences in states. Many people are saying it's a good thing that there will be, at least a bare minimum wage and there will not be differences between states. How do you respond?
If it were a fact, it will be a good thing. But the problem is that, it is not universal. What they are saying, it is universal across the country. People will get the same wage, but it is not that. It will be regional. Second is what they are talking is about the floor level wage. It is not minimum wage. For minimum wage, there is a formula. Yes, and the tripartite forum in way back 1957, the 15th Indian Labour Conference, it was agreed that these should be the criteria. Number of calories, food, then there's clothing, housing, all these things. And the Supreme Court also gave the judgment, the Laptop's bread case. So altogether now that will not be there. They are not talking about minimum wages. So now what they are saying that all will get, that is neither uniform nor universal, and it is the floor level minimum wage. And today what the government has notified is 168 rupees per day. That is the floor level wage. And what is the frequency, in how many years it will be revised? There is no mention about that. So this again is the same thing. Actually, the states, because of this floor level minimum wage, in many states the minimum wage is much more than this. And then they will have to, they will bring down their wages.
Saying that the labor code only wants.
Because this is the thing.
You mentioned Supreme Court verdict. You see, in our country, we have had this history of industrial disputes going on forever and ever. The union government is saying that because of the changes that are being introduced, there will no more be such a delay. There will be quick redressal of grievances. But trade unions seem to say that that is not the case. Why?
See, about the redressal, most of the workers will be pushed out of any mechanism. See, the hire and fire will be there. Now, Industrial Dispute Act, if the employer, any establishment, they want to close or lock out, then today, this thing is the 100. At least if the 100 workers are working in an establishment, they want to close down or lock out, then they have to take the permission of the government. But now that has been increased to 300. So that means what? As of now, even when you take the threshold of 100 workers, around 70% of the establishments in our country, they have less than that number. So if you increase that, more number will be pushed out of this coverage. So there will be no coverage at all. So how they will be protected?
Interestingly, you mentioned hire and fire. Across the private sector, contractual engagement is a norm. In fact, even in public sector units and in government services also, this trend is slowly catching up. But the government is saying that with this fixed term employment clause that is there in the codes, everyone will get equal benefits and security and all that. What is your take on this?
Contractual employment and fixed term employment are not the same. Contract workers have some benefits. There is the Contract Labor Abolition and Regularization Act. But now that is subsumed. And now that act will not be there. The other thing is that fixed term employment, the employer is free to engage any worker for a fixed term. After the term is over, whether it is 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever, then there is no need to give any notice, then no need to give any compensation, nothing is there. He will automatically be removed from his job. And there is no limit that how many times a worker can be employed as a fixed term employee. That means what? Now you are for 1 hour, 1 year, then you will be removed from service. Then again you can be employed as fixed term. So once an employee is employed on a fixed term, you may be getting the same wages, but there is no guarantee that is implemented. The first thing is for implementation, one, there should be effective inspection and enforcement machinery.
Yes,
Second, there should be unionization. So one worker who is employed as a fixed term worker, he will not join any union.
Yes.
Because he will be afraid. If he joins any union, maybe he will not be again taken into the job. So that itself means it's mainly to discourage unionization, prevent the workers from getting organized. And the wages and other things also, they are not the main thing is that the permanent employment will come down. So it will be only fixed term employment. There will be no permanent employment with all the benefits and job security mainly. Fixed term employees, they don't have any job security. The other thing is, you mentioned about contract workers. Now the other thing what the government is doing is that they are employing workers in different names.
Yes.
Apprentices, trainees. So apprentices will be given not wage, stipend. So this type of employment is increasing. Permanent workers is coming down, and even contract workers are also being removed from service, and trainees, apprentices, fixed term employees, and outsourced workers. So this type of precarious jobs are increasing.
But the government is saying that the 4 new labor codes will increase jobs, they will bring in new employment opportunities and also higher investments. You are clearly saying that the existing jobs itself, permanency, the nature of permanency of jobs are at threat. But some people seem to be misled by what the government is saying. Do you have anything to tell them in terms of how this may not necessarily increase employment or investment?
Yeah, this is actually to deceive the youth. The youth, they are looking for jobs. Now that is a major issue in everywhere in country. So to mislead, one is to attack the workers and mislead the youth that they will be getting some employment. But what is the reality? Now during the last so many years, how much investment is coming? How much investment has come? The government has given concessions to the big corporates in different manners. Now there was productivity linked, production linked
incentive,
then capex linked incentive, then employment linked incentive. So all these things are there. How much investment has come? And on this pretext, what the government is doing, earlier there were banks were giving loans. And employers, they were the big corporates, they were not paying, there was bad loans, and then they were written off. All these things were there. Now in this pretext, what they are doing, people's money is directly given to the corporates. So in the name of incentives, they are giving concessions, and not only concessions, the money is, their wages are being paid by the government. What does it mean?
So it is interesting that you mentioned this PLI and ELI and all such schemes. In the government, in multiple questions in the parliament, have not given solid figures on any of this. Yet the government is saying that they are introducing something that is absolutely pro-worker. You've already hinted at this earlier when you said that this is an effort to attack the rights of workers, prevent unionization. This is not just the CITU, that is a progressive union that is saying it. Even a union like BMS, which is supporting the government, they are also saying that. How do you propose to respond to such a situation where the workers' rights are under attack, their right to collective bargaining, unionization is under attack?
So already the workers are on the streets. On 21st, the government has notified. Earlier also, against these labor codes, there were several strikes. Latest was on 9th July. But despite that, the government has notified. On 22nd itself, there were spontaneously, there were big demonstrations, etc., in different parts, at the district level, at the factory gate level, both the organized sector workers, unorganized sector workers, and the scheme workers also, they, because of the last 5 years campaign, etc., they understood the danger of that to some extent, and they have come spontaneously. And after that, on 26th of this month, there was a previous call of the Joint Trade Union Platform and Sanyukta Kisan Morcha to hold district level demonstrations. So earlier it was more than expected. more than the usual thing, because they have understood this thing. And now the CITU has decided that this will continue. This has to be intensified further, and the struggle will continue till these labor codes are repealed. So for that, from the CITU, we have decided that some district level demonstrations, all these things. But at the same time, the Joint Trade Union Platform will meet at the earliest, probably 3rd or so, the date isn't finalized. And there they will again discuss and finalize and try to how to intensify that.
You mentioned the joint action that you had with Samyukta Kisan Morcha, which also brings us to one last and very important point, which is that the Samyukta Kisan Morcha took out a massive struggle against the farm laws, and workers had extended their support. Now we are seeing farmers and peasants extending their support to workers. Is a big struggle like that on the cards? Can we expect that these labor laws, labor codes will be repealed, like the farm bills were repealed?
So we are trying, and we will definitely fight for that, because now there is a good situation, like what you said, that earlier for the Kisan struggle, workers have extended. Now for the workers struggle, earlier the Samyukta Kisan Morcha was not specifically raising the issues of the workers, but now the situation, they are raising the issues of the labor codes also. And continuously from the Joint Trade Union Platform, we have been raising the issues of the farmers. So that type of unity between the workers and the farmers, the two productive components of our society, productive forces of our society, the biggest producers, biggest producers of our society, they together join. And the Samyukta Kisan Morcha is a representative organization of hundreds of Kisan's organizations across the country. And the Joint Trade Union Platform represents the 10 central trade unions and all the independent industrial federations. So more than 90% of the workers and employees are represented by this Joint Trade Union Platform. So if these two platforms unitedly intensify the struggle, I definitely believe that the government will be forced to repeal the labor codes.
So we're certainly looking at a period of intensified struggle and action. We hope that the workers will be able to emerge victorious. Comrade Hemlata, thank you for discussing in detail. With that, we will wrap this episode of Left Lens.
Thank you.